Shalawam. I'm your brother Yahawashi from the branch of GMS, South Carolina Midlands. Before we start off, all praise, honor, and glory belongs to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, HaQadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who teach and do rule well. Shalawam to you, hopeful elect, scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. To you I say Shalawam. The devil knows that he has but a short time. All right, this devil's getting ready to push that MOTB. All right, we know that this devil is allowing, this the dollar to collapse. He's allowing, things to get out of hand. This war is picking up. Fuel shortages, economic collapse, civil unrest. Okay, this is all leading to this devil trying to restore order out of chaos, bring forth his new world order. All right, and to push that MOTB, as the scriptures say. All right, the mark of the beast. All right, that RFID micro C-hip. All right, and we're approaching close to that time. It's only a few seconds, on the clock for this devil's queendom. We know that this devil's about to come all the way with it. He don't got no other choice but to bring the sword, seeing that his deception, is running out. Yahawashi is revealing this devil. Okay, he's consuming this devil by the spirit of his mouth, being the prophets. Okay, this devil is being exposed. All right, not only by the prophets, but also by his own tongue, his own people, is exposing him as well. So, yeah, these wicked elites, the powers that be, is about to come with the force, come with the sword, and he's about to push this MOTB. All right, and this is the time that, we've been waiting for in the spirit, a time to where, it's going to be predicated on your faith and whether you make it or not, your trust in Yahawashi, and the elect ultimately, going to be delivered in these times. The elect is going to deny this devil his MOTB, deny this devil's beast system, and Yahawashi going to deliver him, by his power. All right, deliver the hopeful elect by his power. Okay, but nonetheless, I'm gonna let this video play. Got a article I want to bring out pertaining to the MOTB. This is this devil's last hoorah. Okay, his last ditch attempt to try to deceive and try to snare the Lord's people. Salakia. Try to snare the Lord's people, to draw us away from our power. But there is a remnant that is left and that's serving Yahawashi even unto the death. And subscribe to the brother's channel, The Hopeful Elect 3. Job 14:5, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. And who's this speaking about? It's speaking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. More specifically, the wicked elite. All right, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the one percenters, the bankers, all right, the Amalekites, okay, the ones who control everything in this planet Earth, from resources to the money, okay, to the people that's in this planet Earth, okay. His days are determined, okay, so no matter if this devil has plans to try to continue on with Agenda 2030, and if they meet that mark, which it ain't looking like it's going to, they ain't even going to come close to that time. I don't want to write to Zah, Lord will. But, if they reach that mark, all right, they'll come with an Agenda 2040, Agenda 2050. Because as the scriptures say, their inward thought is that their houses, shall continue forever. Okay. Let me see if I could pull that scripture up, man, real quick. Because that's the mindset of these devils. Inward thought. I know it's in the book of Psalms. Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. These devils think they're going to rule forever, be in the power seat, rule over the Lord's people and these heathens forever. All right, and their dwelling places to all generation. They think it's just going to pass it down to their children, and their children pass it down to their children, their grandchildren. They're just going to be a continual cycle of the rule of the wicked and the Edomites in the earth. But that's not the plan of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. It says they call their lands after their own names. Yeah. America is named after Amerigo Vespucci. Africa named after Leo Scipio Africanus. So on and so forth, man. All right, but these devils think they're going to be in rulership forever, but that's not going to be so. Job 14 and 5, reading what the brother had posted, in this video. Job 14 and 5, seeing his days are determined. Whose days? Esau, Edom, right? 2nd Esdras 6 and 9 tells us, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So this is the end of Esau's eon, his period of time, his age to rule. All right, and he's been ruling for a little season. Okay, but it's almost up, man. It says the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that it cannot pass. And who appointed those bounds? Who gave this devil a cutoff time, an expiration date? All right, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, man. And we're approaching that expiration date. And how beautiful it is that we're, approaching the 250-year mark of America, Babylon the Great, which is typically around the time that the Lord allows specific kingdoms in the earth to rule, of the heathens, that is. Because the kingdom that's coming, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Israel, the kingdom of Yahawashi, given to him by his father Yahawah, all right, where the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans will rule forever, okay? That's going to be a perpetual, everlasting kingdom, okay, that will never end.
Boy, y'all time is up. When I say y'all time is up, boy, this shit over. You see it? Look around. Y'all time up, man. I don't know what else to fucking tell you, man. Bend over and kiss your ass goodbye. Your time is up.
Message!
Message. Sleazy time is up, man. He know it. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Woe means destruction. For the devil, which is Diablos, the so-called white man, is come down unto you. He's known as the false accuser. All right, the slander. All right, the deceiver. Okay, that all is labels and titles of the so-called white man. He is known as the devil of the scriptures, the physical incarnate of the spiritual demon Satan. Okay, these devils always up to no good. They never can be satisfied, with blood. Okay, these devils want to hoard everything, all the resources and people unto himself, man. Okay, but it says, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. What's that great wrath, man? All right, this devil come with the demonization, the persecution. This devil come with his new world order, pushing that mark of the beast. Okay, creating a police state, a surveillance state. Him controlling and watching you and monitoring and limiting access of what you can do and how much you can move and what you can buy here in the planet Earth. Okay, that's why the time that we're approaching is known as the hour of temptation, man. This devil is going to, make it very hard for you to function or live without his system that he's setting up, this digital system. Okay, and all those who don't want to conform to his system and take his mark, all right, he's going to cause, them to be put to death. And yeah, you're going to have martyrs of the elect. Okay, men that's not going to bend the knee. Revelation 20 and 4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for for the witness of Yahawashi. Yeah, and that's the elect, man. Okay, we diligently out there presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice for the Lord. Teaching and preaching this word and this truth. All right, in the names of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Okay, with no fear of this devil. All right, with no fear of these heathens or these 2/3. That's the elect, man. Okay, willing to put their lives on the line for Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, and will put their lives on the line for Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right, and it says, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahawashi, and the elect hold the testimony of Yahawashi, which is the spirit of prophecy, man. Revelation 19:10. Okay, that's how you know who the true prophets, the men of the Lord, are, because they will be prophesying. All right, letting you know before and according to the word of the Lord on how it's going down in the planet Earth, man. Okay, what's next? And it says, and for the word of the Most High Yahawah, yeah, we got the truth, man. That's the main threat to this devil and his kingdom built upon lies and robbery, pursuant to Nahum 3:1. Okay, let me get that real quick. That's the main threat to this devil system, man. Okay, this word and this truth. Isaiah the 13th chapter, the burden of Babylon, man. Okay, lifting up this banner, the scriptures, man. Okay, exalting the names of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Alright, Nahum 3:1. Woe, which means destruction to the bloody city. And what's that bloody city? America. Tainted by the blood of the saints, being the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Look how they came about on how they took this land, stole this land. Okay, off the bloodshed of our Native American brothers, off our Northern Kingdom brothers. Okay, Hispanic brothers. All right, and out the bloodshed of the Southern Kingdom, so-called Negro tribes, man. And they still do so. Okay, still benefit out the blood of Israel. Okay, woe to the bloody city is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. Okay, and that's why we're the number one enemy to this devil, because we speak the truth. Okay, Galatians 4:16, what it say? Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? All right, grab that real quick, man. And we become an enemy to our people, to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, 2/3 that don't want to receive this truth. Okay, but we also become an enemy unto this devil, man. All right, because truth always overcomes lies, just like light always overcomes darkness. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? That's all we doing. We just speaking the truth, man. Letting you know what it is. Okay, and for that, this devil gonna come after us, man. All right. Revelation 24, and I saw thrones, and we letting our people know this devil's plans through the spirit and the power of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi before he even bring these plans to pass. Elder apostles, elder bishops been speaking on the mark of the beast, man. Okay, been speaking on how this devil is bringing a great culling, trying to delete mass numbers of people in the planet Earth, man. Been letting you know about these things, man. His new world order agenda. Okay, how he want to micro C-hip everybody and control everybody and everything and the resources in the planet Earth. And in the words of Carl Schwab himself, you will own nothing and be happy. That's what this devil wants to bring about, man. The Georgia Guidestones. Reduce the world population to 500 million. Well, that's over 8 billion, about 8 billion people on this planet Earth, man. So that's a lot of people this devil plans to delete. Okay? And it says, and I saw the thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for a witness of Yahawashi, and for the word of the Most High Yahawah, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. Hamashiach Yahawashi. Okay? So because you know, for the elect that's going to overcome Sleazy Esau Edom, his beast system. All right? Don't bend the knee. Don't conform to none of this devil unrighteous decrees. His implementation of the mark of the beast, his mark, the charagma, that RFID micro C-hip. Okay? You're going to rule with Yahawashi. You're going to reign with Yahawashi, man. You're going to be joint heirs with Yahawashi. And that's what we're fighting for. That's what we're looking forward to. Okay? Not to be a part of this devil system that will soon collapse and be destroyed. All right? We're looking to reign with Yahawashi, man. Okay? We're looking past Babylon, man. All right? We got bigger dreams. All right? Bigger hopes and aspirations, man. Okay, I'm going to read this before I play this video. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for the purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, education, or personal use tips the balance in the favor of fair use. Okay, so fair use. Not making no monetary gain off playing this video. Just bringing edification and knowledge. Okay. Excuse me. So, yeah, this is a video that I uploaded about 10 months ago. You know, I try to keep these Mark of the Beast or MOTB, RFID, micro C-hip prophetic videos, you know, and receipts, you know, uploaded from time to time, you know, to keep it on the minds of Israel, not to take the mark of the beast, not to take the micro C-hip, man. All right, that this devil is about to enforce. Okay, and you can see my title is June. Ain't no microchip. All right, but you know, I'm just making mockery of, you know, the leader of the IUIC, Bishop Nathaniel, you know, and his attempts to discredit the elder apostle, elder bishops, great millstone, and brothers that's been teaching that the micro C-hip is the mark of the beast. Okay, but we see that this prophecy is coming to fruition. All right, and it's right at the forefront, right at the door of what this devil is about to push on the behest of this collapse of the dollar. All right, the petrodollar, the world reserve currency. All right, so playing this real quick, fair use.
When Elias Brotberger goes to work, he doesn't need ID, and he doesn't need money. In fact, much of what he needs to get through the day is hidden right there, just below the surface, in his hand.
You like to touch it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, weird. Yeah, it's like a grain of...
And I believe this is in Sweden. All right. This is a very, very old video. You know, a couple years old. You know, I believe about 5 years or more years old. And these Swedens been getting micro C-hipped up, man. You know, thousands of them. I wouldn't be surprised if millions of them. All right, or a million. You know, not sure their population, but I know over thousands of them got the MOTB, man, already.
Right.
Yeah, grain of...
And let me add, willingly. We're coming to a time to where this devil is about to enforce it.
rice.
Embedded in his hand is a microchip that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet.
Yeah, it's all on chip, so I use it like...
And, you know, for any newer brothers or sisters out there, there's a reason this devil putting it in the news, you know, at the TSA checkouts, digital ID. I believe a couple articles came out up top in Chicago, you know, TSA checkouts, digital ID. I'm sure in other places as well. In the UK, you know, they enforcing, you know, digital ID. All right, and you won't be able to work if you don't, you know, receive a digital or have a digital ID. After this, that parliament that's over there. Okay, at the end of that parliament that's over there, I believe that's what they call it. Similar to like elections, I believe, over there. All right, so you gotta have a digital ID over there, and pretty soon everybody's gonna have a digital ID. And what is it gonna be on? The MOTB, RFID micro chip. Also, pretty soon you won't be able to buy or sell without the MOTB, the mark of the beast. Okay, yeah, this the times we in, man. All right, the elder apostles, elder bishops been warning about these times, man, and we're here. Okay.
Yeah, it's all in chip. So I use it like to get around the building.
Buy snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's buy some snacks.
Exactly.
So I can't open it.
No.
Okay.
So what I need to do is I need to first blip my chip, and it will log me in, and from there I get access to the fridge.
Popular TV shows like Black Mirror have imagined chips.
Yep, Esau been putting in his shows. Okay, like they showing Black Mirror. You got a movie out there, Implanted. I believe it's on Tubi, if I'm not mistaken. You know, you got another movie called Upgraded. Right, man had a brain C-hip, or a C-hip implanted in his spinal cord. You know, even in real life, Elon Musk with his Neuralink company. Okay, and so on. Many other cartoons, old cartoons and shows, man. This devil been putting it out there. And guess what? The elders been prophesying about these times. And we're here, man. Okay, so I'm going to get straight to this article, man. As I was looking up, you know, about the MOTB. It says here from the U.S. Sun, that's the article, that's where I got this article from. The U.S. Sun, it says the United States, CHIP party. The United States, where American workers can be microchipped by their employers, revealed. So you see, here in America, you can be microchipped by your employer. And it's going to be a simple transition for a lot of these zombies out here, you know, because a lot of these jobs, you got to use basically an RFID microchip anyway to badge in at your job, you know, to get in and out the door, the facilities. You know, you're buying snacks at the vending machine at the tap of your phone or your watch, your smart watch. You know, they already conditioned pretty much. You know, where they going to get groceries from the Whole Foods, they tapping their phone, their smart watch. Even at Whole Foods, they got Amazon One Pay where you link your hand to your debit card and pay for your groceries at the swipe of your hand, and it's conditioning the people to get the actual real deal, the real spill. All right, which is that RFID microchip embedded underneath the skin. All right, so it says United States, where American workers can be microchipped by their employers, revealed, and the employers is nothing more than, you know, the slave masters. Okay, and the employees is the slave. Okay, but it says as Washington bans practice. So why would they need to ban it? Okay. If this is not a real scenario or a real foreseeable future, okay, because this time is coming, right, and it's near. It says a U.S. state is banning forced micro C-hipping as fears about the future of C-hipping in the workplace grow. So this is a very real scenario. Okay, the times we're in where you seeing the future economic collapse of the dollar. Okay, the future fuel shortages, you know, eventually all hell and chaos about to break loose. People can't afford living. You know, they about to be robbing, looting. Okay, food shelves gonna be empty. It's gonna be a type of order that this devil's gonna want to bring out of that, declaring martial law, bringing about his new world order system, enforcing that micro C-hip, man. Okay, blackouts. Okay, the reset, the great reset. It says several states have explicitly banned micro C-hipping, but the practice has become more common, with some U.S. workers choosing to get C-hipped. All right, Some U.S. workers choosing to get C-hipped. You got people already getting it. And eventually people are about to start getting it because they ain't going to have no other choice. That's how scarce this devil's bringing about a scenario. Okay? To where everybody's, outside of the elect, that is just going to conform. It says micro C-hips are injected underneath the skin, usually between the thumb and the forefinger, and can make identification and contactless payments easier. And people going to get it off the strength of convenience. All right? Or to go back to normacy. Just like the time of the 2020 when people rolled up their sleeves and got the juice. People going to be getting the micro C-hip. It says, as of 2024, more than 50,000 people worldwide have been micro C-hip, according to the Carnegie Council for Ethnics in International Affairs. That was back in 2024. Way more people got it by now. It says the new law, which comes into effect in June, bans employers from asking or requiring workers to undergo procedures. Micro C-hipping could potentially be used as a means to control and monitor employee behavior. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson said while signing the legislation into law. And we know Sleazy gonna knock this nigga off and take that whole legislation out the books. All right. Pretty soon, this devil declare martial law and bring forth his draconian measures and laws and legislations, man. All your constitutional rights, and the rights that you think you got, man. That's all that's about to go out the window, man. Okay, and that's the time that we're in, man. All right, so I typed in the chat, says, can wars such as the war in Iran between Israel and U.S. versus Iran bring forth martial law in America? And if so, what scenarios could play out? And, I'm just going to skim through it a little bit. It says, yes, war could contribute to the condition that lead to martial law in parts of the U.S., but the war alone would not automatically trigger it. It would require extreme breakdowns inside the country, not just fighting overseas. And them breakdowns is right before our face, man. Okay? It says, first, martial law. What martial law actually means. Martial law, military temporary takeover of civilian authority. Okay? Military temporarily taking over civilian authority. All right, and this devil gonna have the military, and this devil got his ICE agents who's been funded more than the military itself. His devil already got his troops, his foot soldiers, all right, his Gestapo troops in position, even positioning them where? At the airports now. It's setting up for the police state, man, to bring in this new world order, to quell any type of resistance by force, to stop all means of travel. Okay? It's going to be a get down, lay down type of scenario, man. Okay, it says it's used only in extreme emergencies when normal government can't function. And that's the collapse that this devil's bringing. It has happened before, but locally and temporarily, not nationwide control. Let me get straight down to the point. It says realistic scenarios where war could lead to martial law. Direct attack on U.S. soil, missile strikes, or major terrorist attacks. Had not they been, what do you call it? Where they just had not they been telegraphing that Iran is going to try to do some type of retaliatory strikes, or sleeper cells waking up, doing things in Babylon the Great. Apparently drones got stolen from a military base. Prepare, man, for a 911 type of scenario, and you could best believe you're going to have them small haters, them Amalekites, and the U.S. government that's going to be behind it, man. Could there be actual T attacks? Of course. But best believe that we live in a time, and we under control of the devil, the deceiver, the false accuser, to where they will do a attack such as the 911, and blame it on somebody else so that they can bring more LDs, lockdowns, so that they can gain more control and strip away more of your rights. Okay? Cyber attacks, shutting down power grids, banks, and or infrastructure. Wasn't there just a blackout not too long ago in San Francisco? Thousands of people without power. Is there a blackout going on over there in Cuba? Different blackouts around Babylon the Great. I know we had a blackout. It's been about a month or so, probably 2 months. We had a blackout in my little town that I'm living in, man. Here in South Carolina. Okay? Pitch black. No, nothing working. Refrigerator off. Lights off. No street lights. Okay? And that's going to be, imagine that going on for days and weeks. Okay? What type of collapse and what type of chaos and anarchy, chaos that could bring. So this devil can roll in with the control. The troops. Military troops. Foot soldiers. ICE agents. Patrolmen. Bring about enforced micro C-hipping. We don't know who's who. We don't know if you're a T or not. It's the time, man. These are times we're in, man. Okay? And call Allah Yahawashi for giving us the Holy Spirit to have the foresight, man. To see these things, man. Not to be ignorant, of Satan's devices, man. Okay? 2 Corinthians 2:11. At least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, man. Speaking about the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, these wicked elite, these devils, man. We know his wicked devices, plans, schemes that he's been plotting for centuries, man. Decades. Okay? And now he's wanting to bring about that new world order. Okay? And we here. It's right at the door. Everything's at the cuff. We at the cuffs of everything, man. Okay? And those of you hopeful members of the elect with eyes to hear and ears to hear, eyes to see and ears to hear. Okay? Stay locked in the spirit, man. Stay focused on, stay occupied in prophecy, man. Sirach 39:1. Because Proverbs 22:3, the prudent man foreseeth the evil, and that's the elect. You got that foresight, you got the vision. We see the evils ahead. We see the devil coming down with great wrath. Okay? We know we're about to be persecuted for righteousness' sake. Alright, but we know Yahawashi is with us. It says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. And how do we hide ourselves? Abiding under the shadow of the Almighty. Okay? Repenting, turning back to Yahawashi and remaining in His truth. Okay? Serving the Lord so that we could be protected, man. Alright? Calling on the name of the Lord. Proverbs 18:10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. So we know we got a covering, man. We got a protection. Alright? But the simple being the 2/3. Ones who don't believe this word and this truth, don't believe the warning, don't take heed to the warning, they don't prepare themselves for this time. Not carnally, but spiritually. Getting in alignment with their power, their protection, their provider. But the simple pass on and are punished. They're going to be caught in this time, man. They're going to conform to this devil. Okay? End up taking the MOTB so that they can eat. So they can, quote unquote, go back to normal. And this devil still ain't going to give them nothing to eat. Devil's still going to be taking them out. Okay? These are the times we're in, man. But Yahawashi is with us, man. Okay? We ain't going to have to worry about eating, drinking. We ain't have to worry about nothing, man. Because Yahawashi going to be with us every step of the way, man. 2 Esdras chapter 2. 2 Esdras chapter 2. And I want to get a point in here. Yep. 2 Ezra chapter 2 and 13. It says, "Go and ye shall receive. Pray," which means to beg, "for a few days unto you, that they may be shortened." And the Lord is shortening the days for the elect's sake. St. Matthew 24:22. If he didn't shorten the days, no flesh will be saved. And scientists coming out saying that the earth is spinning faster than ever before. We're having shorter days, and you could tell it. You could feel it, man. The weeks, the days, the months going by quicker. Okay? Meaning what? The Lord is answering our prayers. It says, "Go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you." We're praying that this day, the Lord bring it. The Lord come and get us up out of here, man. And it says, and that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. So we already got the kingdom of heaven that's promised unto us in our grasp. Continue to watch. Salvation nearer than when we believe. Romans 13 and 11, man. Okay? High time to awake out of sleep, man, for you members of the elect, man. Alright? Repent to Yahawashi and remain in this truth, man. Abide under the shadow of the Almighty, that you may be protected and delivered. Same, 2 Ezra 2, and I'm going to get straight to the point. 26. "As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number, being the elect. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh," being Jacob's trouble, that we're going to be saved out of it, saved out of. Jeremiah 30 and 7, right? Time like no other. "Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful." 2/3. Okay, the heathen's going to be catching hell too, but it's about the Lord's people, the Israelites. 2/3 shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. So to be merry, to be in a joyful spirit, and to have abundance, plenteous during the time of famine and chaos, empty food shelves, people robbing one another to take what people got. To be merry and have abundance means the Lord is on your side. The Lord going to be on our side, and he's going to be guiding us and protecting us, man. It says, "The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord, Yahawashi," because that hedge of protection going to be around us. The angels of the Lord covering us, man, protecting us, man. Archangel Michael fighting on the behest of our behalf. Daniel's 12 and 1. Okay? Brothers have assigned guardian angels. That's a real thing, man. Psalms 34 and 7. "The angel of the Lord, Yahawashi, encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them." We got angels protecting us, man. It says 2 Ezra 2 and 29. "My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell." So even our very children going to be protected, from the grave, man. Okay, from the chaos, the hell the conditions of evil that's going to be on the earth, man. Okay, all through the spirit and the power of Yahawashi, man. This man know his time is up, man. This devil got a short time. The time is ticking, man, on this devil's kingdom. So that's why he's about to come with that great wrath, man. We prepared for it, man. Let's hope for members of the elect. And how we prepared for it? Because of Yahawashi, man. The spirit and the power of Yahawashi, Isaiah 33 and 6. "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure." Lord, with us edifying to the elect. With that I say shalom. Shalawam to the hopeful elect.